The Detroit Lions have looked unstoppable to this point, and anybody who has gotten in their way has been run over. Houston comes to town in a primetime matchup this week. Is there any chance Houston walks away with a win this weekend?
It will be tough to see on this one. I know Detroit just went out and traded for Zadarius Smith. They have Aleem McNeil on the inside. Houston Texans, as we've talked about, has one of the worst offensive lines in football. The Detroit Lions pride themselves on stopping the run first and foremost. I view this one as a tough game for the Houston Texans. The Detroit Lions went out there, absolutely dominated. Their first game outside, it's pouring rain. Jared Goff looked like he's playing in the rain every single day. They're throwing, fades to Amon-Ra St. Brown. David Montgomery's running folks over. Jahmyr Gibbs is still, every time he touches it, it looks like it's going to be a home run. And finally, they got some reinforcements on the defense. I do not see a weakness on this Detroit Lions game. The Texans and CJ Stroud have been all right. They're getting Nico Collins back. CJ Stroud has been good despite the offensive line play. Joe Mixon is the MVP of that team right now. He makes them go. The comparison I'll make is Jalen Hurts looks a whole lot better when A.J. Brown comes back and he can just throw the ball up to him. Nico Collins was on a historic pace, 2,000 yards receiving, and got hurt. So with Nico Collins coming back, it really depends on how healthy he is to see how they move the ball. I just don't think the Texans have shown me enough. I think they've kind of regressed down to mean. Now, Will Anderson, Danico Autry, Tim Settle, the D tackle with the Texans. Not a lot of people were talking about him. He's been great. I just don't think they're enough because where Houston Texans are strong, the Detroit Lions are even stronger. And that's where I think the Lions are just going to come in and be too tough to handle.
Two of the better coaching staffs in the league. Obviously, it's going to be a great showdown. Jay, Dan Campbell was obviously among the Coach of the Year candidates last year. Is he maybe doing a better job this year with this team?
Yeah, he probably is. They don't have any weaknesses. They take over his mentality, his tough physical mentality. We can beat you anywhere, anytime, any place. It doesn't matter. And the players thrive off of that. Now, you have to have good players to back up your coach's words and his thoughts and his culture. And they do. They went out and got Jared Goff. They went out and drafted Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. They go get David Montgomery. They draft a hell of an offensive line, Frank Ragnow, obviously, and Sewell. These guys are awesome. They don't have any weaknesses on their team. Defensively, they go out and draft Brian Branch. They get Campbell. They got Hutchinson, even though he's hurt. They've built from within. They've made great personnel decisions. They have a tough mental approach about the football game. They're confident and they execute well. They have a great plan every week. This is the best team in pro football right now, other than Kansas City, obviously. It's going to be a collision course if both teams stay healthy, in my opinion, unless Sam Frank can get ready or somebody else can knock somebody else off. But yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. They're a better football team this year because they're more confident and they've been in a lot of different situations and they've overcome them.
Colt, every Monday we get on the horn and we talk about offenses we like. We always start with Detroit usually, right? Talk a little bit about what you're seeing from Ben Johnson and how he's able to win in a multitude of different ways.
This offense is elite, man. Their ability to create all over the field, and they just run their simple, familiar concepts that everybody knows. He just dresses them up with shifts, with motions, with personnel groups. They're just fun to watch. And then he always sprinkles in a few trick plays, a pass to Penei Sewell, right? Somehow he sneaks Sam Laporta down the sidelines, across the middle. He's always wide open. Their offense is just fun to watch, and they do a great job of running the football. Their 1-2 punch with Gibbs and with Montgomery is the best in football, and they're guys up front. So being able to run the football allows you to be very creative, but at the same time, like they're not doing things from a pass game standpoint that are different. They're just dressing them up a lot of different ways and finding ways to get guys open where you line up in a stack to get free releases, you short motion, you snap on the run. That just every week there's a different flavor to it, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I turn it on, it's so much fun for me to watch. And I lived in an offense where it was 40 dropbacks a game. I was fighting for my life. I felt like it was always hard. I felt like it was always hard, right? And I turned them on, and every single week it's like they're running off the ball. They're constantly doing play action. They're never in one-on-one situations. They're always 2-on-1, helping each other out. It just looks like a fun offense to be a part of, especially up front. And obviously, they like to get their big boys touchdowns. Justin, talk a little bit about what you see with their group up front and how much fun would it be to maybe be running a little diagonal route, getting a little fullback dive up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, let's not look at our neighbor, the Chicago Bears there in that division and talk about fullback dives, because everything that the Detroit Lions can do with their offensive line in Chicago, don't try that at home, Chicago. You're not ready for that one just yet. it is a great group to watch. They get after it in the run game. And Colt, I know you mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They go by the nickname Knuckles and Sonic now. And those do, like, every time Jahmyr Gibbs touches the ball, you truly believe that it is going to be a touchdown. And the one caveat I have with the Detroit Lions, if there is one, it's like, what's going to happen when they face adversity? That's the last test that I want to see from the Detroit Lions. Let them get down in the game. And I was hoping Green Bay would put them in some adverse, situations, but Jordan Love just wasn't 100%. So that game wasn't meant to be. But to play in that offense would be a dream come true. When you have those running backs that can make you better, when you have Jared Goff completing every game, he's been over, I think, like 72%. At one point, he had more touchdowns than incompletions. So to play on offense, and then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown showing up with a Green Bay sucks, trying to fight the secondary, the first play of the game. That mentality is what energizes an offensive line. They play as a unit. You can tell those guys love one another and love playing with one another. I would love to be a part of a group like that. Before we continue with the video, I have to ask one favor. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. If you like this type of content, if you like hearing us talk football, hit that notification button. So every time we drop a video, it is coming straight to you.
Yeah, Detroit, I mean, every week when you turn them on, you have a feeling that they're going to win the game. You got Houston coming to town. They're 6-3, but their offensive line's not playing great. They got a lot of issues. CJ Stroud's under constant pressure. Jay, who do you think wins this matchup this weekend?
Well, Detroit's better right now, but add Nico Collins helps. The ability for Joe Mixon to run the football will help. And then the play action with Nico Collins and Tank Dell ripping down the field will help a lot. The only issue I have with Detroit right now is last week against Green Bay, they had 2 key 4th downs in the red zone. They went for both of them and got them. Sometimes you got to kick a field goal. And that's what happened last year in the playoffs when they got knocked out. They kept going for it on 4th down. Instead of taking the points, they get knocked out. So those decisions, when Campbell makes those decisions, the players better execute because it can put them in harm's way at times. But right now, the Lions are as good as anybody. Texans are starting to get a little bit healthy. I know Will Anderson's a little banged up too. So once they get healthy, I think Houston will be able to compete with them. But right now, Sunday, I don't think they can. I think Detroit wins.
Cole, who do you think wins this matchup this week?
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions, man. You can't bet against the Lions, but I'm with Jay. I mean, the Houston Texans aren't that far off. Their defense is going to play well every week. It's a matter of, can we keep our quarterback upright? Can we keep him clean? Can we give him time to push the ball down the field? And right now, they just haven't shown to me that they can do that. I know the Lions have lost Aiden Hutchinson, but at the same time, their defense is strong. Their defense is playing with a lot of confidence. They'll blitz you. They'll play coverage. They just do too much, and I think the Lions win this one.
I want to give a shout-out to Zadarius Smith, who just got traded. How happy is he? Going from the Cleveland Browns, Jameis did what Jameis did best last week, but he gets to show up to the Detroit Lions. That has to be the best rags to riches story in the NFL. I agree with Jay on the fact that Nico Collins will be a game changer in this game, and he'll keep this game even tighter. The Texans are not a bad team, but Detroit Lions, I think right now, are playing the best football in the NFL. I think the Kansas City Chiefs might argue that, but when you turn on Detroit's film, it's what can't they do?
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
I'm going to go Sam Laporta to score a touchdown. Sam Laporta, higher 0.5 touchdowns, tight end. Jared Goff is distributing the ball to a lot of different people. He can hand the ball off, but this week, he's throwing it to Sam Laporta. Touchdown.
I love that pick, Jay. It's a good pick. I didn't think you were going to go that route. I'm going to go David Montgomery to score a touchdown this week. Gibbs has been getting all of the press. He's been getting all the pub. He's had the big runs the last couple of weeks. Ever since Montgomery fumbled a couple weeks ago, they've gone strictly Gibbs for the most part. But once we get in the red zone and you got to count on a guy, you're going to count on Montgomery. I'm going to go over or higher touchdowns, David Montgomery.
You guys both going with the Lions, going with Laporta, going with Montgomery. Like those picks, by the way. I'm going with the Texans. Look, they got punched in the mouth against the Jets. They got a couple extra days to prepare for this game. I don't think CJ Stroud passed the century mark till like late in the fourth quarter, if he even did, against the Jets. And so this week, Nico Collins coming back. I'm taking higher passing yards for CJ Stroud. That's the only way they beat the Detroit Lions this week.
Love it.